What is up, guys? It's Tyler once again, and I'm coming at you guys with another content of Cooking Our Kingdom. Yes, I know you guys all have been waiting for it, and today I'm going to be doing the September 2021 PVE tier list, and we'll be adding Moon Rabbit Cookie, Tails Cookie, and Sonic Cookie because I was able to pull them and try them out in PVE as well. So I'm going to be updating you guys on this tier list, and hopefully this allows you guys and helps you guys in making a better team. Anyways, guys, if you guys enjoyed this content, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button, and don't forget to hit that notification bell so that you guys don't miss out on any future Cooking Our Kingdom videos that I upload on YouTube. Anyways, guys, with all that out of the way, let's get right into the video. Alright, let's get into it, guys. So here we go. So first one is going to be Almond Cookie. Almond Cookie, actually, I'm going to be putting at A tier this time around in the PvE tier list, because Almond Cookie actually works really well in the upper stages of the game. So 11 and 12, the new story mode that came out. If you guys actually use Almond Cookie with Rye Cookie, they actually work really well together, and you will actually able to clear the mobs out relatively quickly with these two comps. And on top of that, if you do utilize those two cookies, you guys are able to kind of deal with big amount of mobs if you guys do utilize them together. So I'm just gonna put Almond Cookie at A tier because of the fact that you can work together and, you know, clear out a lot of mob waves, and that is a huge when it comes to PvE, because those mobs can be pretty tricky to deal with and they will melt your tank. So Almond Cookie is going to be at A tier. Next one is going to be Black Raisin. Black Raisin is actually going to be at SS tier for this tier list. I don't know if I did that for August, but the reason why I'm doing Black Raisin at SS tier is because of the AoE damage and just flat out damage that she deals into the enemy. She is a great assassin. Yes, there is a downside that her skill can actually miss if you guys do use her skill maybe after Strawberry Crepe pushes them back, or anybody like Latte, Mango. If you do utilize their skill while Black Raisin is using her skill, she does have a chance to miss. But besides that, if you guys do play on manually, then you'll be able to utilize her skill very well and have the enemies be cleared very quickly with Black Raisin's skill. So I'm going to be putting Black Raisin at SS tier. Next one is going to be Chili Pepper. Chili Pepper is going to be at C tier. It's kind of same as the Arena. Yes, she is great in the beginning, but she does fall off, and Black Raisin compared to her is just so much better. And I want to say Chili Pepper is always going to be that average cookie that you get for free, so you can use her until you get a better DPS. So Chili Pepper is going to be at that C tier. Alright, next one is going to be Cream Puff. Cream Puff is going to be at that D tier. Just don't want to use Cream Puff at all for any real team, guys. Cream Puff is a collection cookie. Cream Puff is only for that bond, and if you guys are lucky enough to pull her from the guild gacha, then I highly suggest you just leave her there and allow her to enjoy being in the back line, well, where she doesn't need to fight anything really, because her healing, her damage is not good. I wouldn't waste your EXP star jellies or skill powders unless you are loaded with a ton of them. So Cream Puff is going to be at that D tier. Next one is going to be Dark Choco. Dark Choco is still going to be at the SS tier, and the reason why is because of that 20% defense debuff, guys. That 20% is huge, and when it comes to the mob, guys, he's able to quickly deal with them alongside any AoE DPS cookies, because they are taking ton more damage. And on top of that, Dark Choco is pretty much the best tank when it comes to dealing with the bosses, because your boss has a lot of HP, and with Dark Choco in the front line dealing that debuff, allowing Vampire, Rye, or anybody who deals a ton of damage to that boss to deal extra damage. So Dark Choco is still going to be at SS tier, definitely going to be strong, but I do recommend that you do build him properly so that later on in the stages he does not die by the mobs. Alright, next one is going to be Lilac. Lilac is going to be at the B tier. Yes, you can use Lilac inside of a PvE comp, guys, but you still need to have a certain amount of cookies, which includes mint choco and maybe even Pastry or Madeleine. I wouldn't really recommend using Lilac by himself, and the reason why is because he needs to have attack speed boost in order for him to utilize his skill to him and to his teammates. However, without any buffer like mint choco or even the enchanted robe, it's going to be hard to use Lilac as any DPS or even a support. So I'm going to say Lilac is going to be at that B tier. Only good in certain teams, wouldn't be really worth using if he is by himself. Alright guys, next one is going to be Espresso Cookie. Espresso Cookie is going to be at S tier for PvE because Espresso still does a ton of burst AoE. Someone did comment that, you know, Espresso still has the best AoE burst, but I have to disagree. Yes, he does have a great burst AoE damage. However, like I said in all of my tier lists, Espresso does still lack a utility in his skill. He's just a cookie who deals a ton of damage. Yes, it is important in PvE, and that is the reason why I'm putting him at S tier, but in other modes he can be replaced by many other cookies with a lot of utility, and I would say Espresso, yes, when it comes to PvE will be good because of its burst AoE working alongside dark choco and other cookies like him. So I'm going to be putting Espresso at S tier. Next one is going to be Fig Cookie. Fig Cookie, same thing here guys, D tier. Don't really want to use Fig Cookie. The reason why is because yes, Fig Cookie has that debuff of attack, but why use that when you can just have a defense buff maybe from Licorice or someone like that, while Licorice does have a lot more things that he offers to the team, like minions or servants, and on top of that 20% defense buff and ton of damage. Why would you use someone who does a little bit of debuffing and very little damage and provides nothing more than that? So I would say if you guys do have Fig Cookie, just please stay away from Fig Cookie and use that spot for another cookie that is better than Fig. Oops. Alright, moving on is going to be Herb. Herb is still going to be at SS tier. Yes, we do know that Herb can get out healed by a lot of the supports in the game, and the main reason why is because Herb has an area restriction of healing. However, when it comes to majority of the players who still struggle in defeating the enemies in one shot, Herb is still going to be helpful, allowing your team to be healed within the area where they're stuck while dealing with the enemies. So when Herb still stays in that one area, then Herb is still going to be healing a lot more than maybe for say Parfait or Mint Choco or even Pomegranate. And the reason why is because when you do stay in that area, his healing is a lot more powerful than the supports. And for beginners and for all those who do not have pure vanilla yet, I would still recommend you use Herb as your PvE healer, because you can actually transfer that over to the arena and still use Herb in your arena team as well. So I'm going to be putting Herb at SS tier because of the fact that he's still the number 2 healer in the game right after pure vanilla. Alright, next one is going to be Hollyberry. Hollyberry is going to be at SS tier as well for PvE, and the reason why is because of her damage focus. Her damage focus is awesome when it comes to helping your backline survive against enemies who deal damage to your backline or focus on the backline instead of the tank. When that happens, yes, you have a chance for your backline to actually melt because they do not have much defense, they do not have much health, and they are pretty much the damage dealers or the healer. When it comes to that, Hollyberry is going to be able to help your team survive, and the overall survivability of your team will increase. On top of that, she does do a ton of damage and also knocking back enemies as well, buying some of your cookies time for their skill cooldown to come. So Hollyberry is going to be SS tier, and with the extra 30% defense buff and the 25% maximum HP buff that she did receive during the update, she got even better. So she is going to hold the title of that SS tier cookie. Next one is going to be Kumiho. Kumiho is actually going to be at C tier for me. I guess I can even put her at B tier, but I'm going to be putting her at C tier. The reason why is because yes, she is a charming cookie, like she does charm and she basically prevents the enemies from attacking and moving. However, that's all she does. She does do damage, but her damage is not that great compared to any of the other tanks that we have, any of the charges that we have. Kumiho is probably on the weaker side, and I would suggest that if you guys do have any tanks or charge cookies that are in the SS, S, or even A tier, then I would use them rather than Kumiho. Alright, next one is going to be Latte. Latte is going to be at that S tier. I would also like to put Latte at SS tier, but I'm going to put Latte at S tier because Espresso is at S tier as well. But Latte does provide a little more, and I like to use Latte over Espresso for the fact that I can immobilize the enemies for 5 seconds and prevent them from moving, because them not moving for 5 seconds allows my team to actually have time in order for them to get their skills That's extra 5 seconds, guys. That's a huge amount of time, and I'll just have to say Latte, just having them together, silencing them, and constantly dealing damage over time is going to be a great addition to your PvE team. And personally, I have used her as my main DPS, so I have to say from experience, Latte is a great cookie for you to have in PvE. Next one is going to be Licorice. Licorice is going to be at SS tier, the only cookie who is probably going to be useful for every single game mode, and I have talked about this during my arena team or arena tier list. But Licorice provides minion 20% defense buff, and on top of that, damage. And Licorice is just so good when it comes to PvE. It prevents any of the enemies from coming forward to your cookies. On top of that, they do not get knocked back, so your servants will not be affected by any of those things except for stuns. However, when it comes to higher stages and the knockback comes, it's going to be awful to deal with without Licorice. Yes, it is possible, but if you do have Licorice and you have him built, then he can definitely help you guys out and help you push all the way up to stage 12. So I want to be saying Licorice is going to be at that SS tier. Next one is going to be Madeleine. Madeleine is going to be at A tier. Yes, Madeleine could be a good cookie to be used at the front line, but like I always have to say, Madeleine is pretty much a tank only made for speed comp. Yes, his debuff immunity does work, and on top of that, his AoE damage helps in clearing mobs. However, without a good team, Madeleine is not that great compared to someone like Hollyberry or Dark Choco. And on top of that, I'll have other S tier as well, so I'm going to be putting at Madeleine at A tier. Really want to use him only for that speed comp, guys. Next one is going to be Mango. Mango is going to be at S tier as well, providing 3 knockbacks. On top of that, 10% attack boost with ton of damage, because Mango cannot miss his skill, guys. Mango will always land his skill no matter what, because the range is so big, right? Mango is always going to have a ton of damage when it comes to your battle chart. So I want to say Mango is going to be a great addition to your team, especially dealing with those mob stages where you have like 10 enemies that you have to kill in one bulk. Mango will be definitely a great addition to your team, buying your team enough time for them to have their cooldown decrease by a certain amount, about 2 to 3 seconds, because of the knockback. On top of that, if you do match him up with someone like Latte or Sea Fairy, then definitely will be great and allowing your team to survive in PvE mode. Next one is going to be Milk Cookie. Yes, I'll be putting Milk Cookie at S tier because of the fact that a lot of new players do watch this tier list, and when they do, they need to know who a good tank is, because I did mention in my team building guide that you do need a tank, and Milk Cookie can be a great tank in the beginning, guys. Until about world 8 or so, you can use Milk Cookie as your main tank and have that 50% damage resist buff on his skill, and on top of that, taunt will allow your team to actually survive a lot more and be able to clear the stages all the way up there. However, when it comes to later on stages like world 9, 10, 11, 12, the enemies do deal a ton of damage, and I'll say Milk Cookie does fall off compared to other tanks like Hollyberry and Strawberry Crepe. So I want to say Milk Cookie is going to be S tier, but I want to suggest that you do not invest too much into Milk Cookie for the later stages, and save up some in order for you to transition from a Milk Cookie to a Hollyberry or Strawberry Crepe or any of the other tanks that you do have in mind, guys. Alright, next one is going to be Mint Choco. Mint Choco is going to be S tier because of the healing and attack speed that he provides to the team. And even in PvE mode, healing is very important, and having extra attack speed actually allows your healer to not only heal more, but your DPSs to also auto attack multiple times within that second. So I want to say that Mint Choco is going to be at S tier. Yes, the healing is not a ton compared to healers like Herb or Pure Vanilla, but definitely a great healer and additional healer to have on your team. So I want to put Mint Choco at S tier, guys. Alright, next one, our new addition to the line is going to be Moon Rabbit Cookie. I'll be putting Moon Rabbit Cookie actually at S tier for PvE mode. The reason why is because she does provide tanking, damage, self-healing, as well as healing for your entire team. when she does have the ability to utilize her skill. When she casts her skill, she does put a marking on the enemies, and as long as the enemies are killed within that 10 seconds, she does summon rice cakes in order to heal your entire team. Yes, it is not a ton compared to Arena. However, Moon Rabbit Cookie can provide enough sustain and healing in order for your main healer to heal when it comes to the major healing, dealing with the bigger damage. So I want to say Moon Rabbit Cookie will be a great tank. Guys, the damage is not bad when it comes to PvE, and on top of that, the self-sustain really helps when it comes to having a frontliner. So I will be putting Moon Rabbit Cookie at S tier. Alright, next one is going to be Parfait. Parfait is going to be S tier too because of the same reason why I'm putting Min Choco. However, Min Choco does apply attack speed boost, but Parfait does apply defense boost as well as debuff resist boost. So it's a 10% defense buff as well as 40% debuff resist buff. However, she does heal over 7 seconds. It's not a ton, but over time it does build out, and it will help your entire team survive over time. And the defense buff definitely helps your team as well. So I will be putting Parfait at S tier, just like how I put Min Choco at S tier. Alright, next one is going to be Pastry. Pastry actually is going to be S tier as well. A great damage dealer, AoE damage dealer, and on top of that, she really doesn't have a way for her to miss her skill because her skill is based on her auto attack. Auto attack is going to ricochet and hit up to 5 enemies, as well as when she does use her skill, that auto attack is going to be enhanced, as well as she's going to shoot faster in order to deal more damage to the enemies. She does work best when she does have support like Min Choco and Lilac. However, she still can be used by herself and deal a ton of damage to the enemies. So I want to be putting Pastry at S tier for that reason. Great at dealing with mobs. However, she is a little weak when it comes to boss battle. Keep that in mind. Next one is going to be Poison Mushroom. Poison Mushroom is going to be at C tier, and yes, Poison Mushroom can be okay in certain situations, but when it comes to that damage wise, guys, Poison Mushroom does not deal that much damage, and on top of that, they need to be poisoned, and it's not an instant kill, guys. It does take time in order for that damage to stack and allow you to really utilize the damage that Poison Mushroom is doing. So I want to be putting Poison Mushroom at C tier. Not really worth it in PvE mode. However, when it comes to guild boss battle, then yes, Poison Mushroom is going to be at a SS tier, but this one is for PvE, so I'll be putting Poison Mushroom at C tier. Alright guys, next one is going to be Pomegranate. Pomegranate is going to be at S tier, just like how Parfait and Min Choco are in S tier. Pomegranate does provide healing over 5 seconds, and on top of that, provides 20% attack boost to your entire team, and that attack boost can be great when it comes to healing, because heal will be much more, and on top of that allows your DPSs to deal more damage as well. So that's why I'm going to be putting Pomegranate at S tier. Alright guys, moving on, we are going to have Pure Vanilla. Pure Vanilla is going to be definitely at SS tier, the best healer in the game with no area restriction, on top of that providing shield to your entire team, which is amazing, guys. When it comes to dealing with bosses, when it comes to dealing with mobs, there's no better candidate than Pure Vanilla Cookie, and Pure Vanilla will always be the best healer unless somebody even more broken comes out, which is highly unlikely. So Pure Vanilla, if you do have him, make sure to use him. Herb is not better than Pure Vanilla, guys. Pure Vanilla is going to be the best healer in the game, guys, so make sure to use him when you get him. Alright, next one is going to be Purple Yam. Purple Yam is going to be at C tier. Yes, he can be okay, guys. However, when it comes to working as a front lane, you kind of do want to have something rather than just knockback. Yes, Purple Yam does knock back enemies while he is spinning, but that is it. He deals damage and knocks back. When it comes to somebody like Milk Cookie has 50% damage resist, Dark Choco has 20% defense debuff, Hollyberry has damage focus and a crazy amount of HP and defense. However, when it comes to Purple Yam doesn't really have anything, just that damage and a little bit of knockback. So I'm going to have to say Purple Yam is probably not going to be the best tank to invest in when it comes to PvE, and I'll highly suggest you do not invest too much into him and wait until you do get a better tank for your team. Alright guys, next cookie is going to be Raspberry Cookie. Raspberry Cookie is going to be at A tier, and the reason why I want to put Raspberry Cookie at A tier is because Raspberry Cookie, yes, she does do a lot of damage, I have to say, because I tested out myself. However, when Raspberry Cookie does use her skill, she does lack AoE hit. Yes, she does apply that 40% debuff. However, it's only for 3 seconds and it doesn't really make a huge difference unless it is for boss battle. When it comes to dealing with mobs, Raspberry Cookie is definitely going to have a harder time compared to someone like Milk, Dark Choco, and Hollyberry. So I'm going to be putting Raspberry Cookie at A tier. Yes, you can use her in boss battles and single hitting enemies. However, when it comes to dealing with mobs, she's going to be very lacking and gonna struggle when it comes to that. Alright, next one is going to be Rye Cookie. Rye Cookie, I do want to put her at S tier / A tier, and the reason why is because yes, Rye Cookie can be very good, but like I said, she needs to be able to work with Almond Cookie really in order to deal with mobs. And on top of that, she does do a ton of damage to bosses, but when it comes to mobs, she does struggle a little bit as well. So I would say if you do want to use Rye, then use her with Almond, but that does take up 2 slots, and I'll have to suggest if you do want to use Rye for PvE mode, then I'll just kind of keep her there and then wait until it's a boss battle and then utilize her. If not, then use someone like Black Raisin, Espresso, Latte, Mango, or even Pastry. So I want to say that's going to be a better idea for you in the long run. All right, next cookie is going to be Sea Fairy. Sea Fairy, no doubt about it, is going to be an SS tier. I know you guys already know why Sea Fairy is going to be an SS tier, and that is because of the fact that she is a monster, right? She deals not only AoE damage, but she does provide 3-second stun for the entire enemy, and having that is just a lifesaver, guys. And she is just always going to be that SS tier, having enormous damage, enormous stats, as well as that 3-second stun. Alright guys, next cookie is going to be Snow Sugar Cookie. Even with the buff, guys, I'm going to have to put Snow Sugar Cookie at C tier. Not really useful because the damage is really weak. And on top of that, Snow Cookie does have that attack speed slow, but what is the real use of it when you can just kill them, right? Why sacrifice the damage and go for a slow attack speed slow debuff when you can just kill them, right? So I want to say Snow Sugar Cookie is going to be at that C tier, although Snow Sugar Cookie did receive that buff from the last patch. So yeah, that's how it's just gonna be, guys. All right, next one is going to be Sonic. So this is a big question, guys. So Sonic is definitely not bad for PvE because the auto attack speed is actually really good. On top of that, providing 15% attack speed buff and dealing AoE damage. However, his damage does lack a little, I have to say, and that is probably because he is going to be a special cookie, and Sonic, everyone can receive him and everyone can unlock him, so that's probably why Dev Sister didn't make him too broken. And I'll have to say, if you are lucky enough to grind out the rings and get Sonic Cookie, then it is not a bad idea to invest in him. You can still use him in maybe a speed comp. However, I wouldn't say it's the best idea. If you are starting off new and you do not have a ton of EXP Star Jellies, then maybe I'll hold off on it and invest in him later. But still, he is going to deal a ton of damage, and he's going to provide that attack speed, and his auto attack is pretty strong. So I want to say still for PvE he'll be able to hold the title as S tier, but he's very at the very edge of S tier and A tier, so that's where I'm going to be putting him. Alright guys, next one is going to be Sparkling. Sparkling is going to be at A tier, and the reason why is because he does heal, but he does lack the multiple heals. So compared to someone like Parfait, Mint Choco, Pomegranate, Herb, and Pure Vanilla, they are able to heal every single one of your allies. However, when it comes to Sparkling, Sparkling does not heal everybody. He only heals 2 of the lowest HP cookie at the moment, and it's just not going to be enough healing when it comes to later on stages where the mobs deal a ton of damage. So I'll have to say Sparkling, yes, he can be good. However, I would highly suggest you replace Sparkling Cookie with any of the supports here or your main healers here on top and go along with your day. Alright guys, next one is going to be Sorbet. Sorbet is actually going to be S tier for the PVE tier list because I feel like overall damage wise, Black Raisin is going to out damage Sorbet Shark Cookie, and plus Black Raisin does have a skill that can deal AoE damage, real AoE damage, while Sorbet Shark Cookie does lack AoE damage, is more towards certain targets, right? Certain number of targets. So I have to say Sorbet shot cookie, yes, he can be very strong, and he can deal a ton of damage to particular targets. However, when in the PvE mode where you're not dealing with cookies, it is a little hard for Sorbet to be used in every single mode of the game. However, I would still say if you do not have black raisin, definitely go for Sorbet shot cookie, because Sorbet shot cookie can deal great damage, guys. So Sorbet shot cookie S tier for me. Alright guys, next one is going to be Squid Ink, a new addition actually to the S tier. I'm gonna be putting Squid Ink at S tier because of the AoE damage that he is able, or it is able to apply. And Squid Ink is just, you know, the auto attack itself does a lot of damage as well as the skill does ton of damage to almost every single one of the enemies. So I want to say Squid Ink is definitely not a bad AoE damage dealers, and if you guys are lacking someone like Espresso, Latte, then I will definitely use Squid Ink into your team as well, because Squid Ink does a great job in dealing with a huge mob, just like how these cookies do as well. So Squid Ink cookie is going to be at S tier. Alright guys, next one is going to be Strawberry Crepe. Strawberry Crepe is going to be at SS tier. There's no doubt about it. Still going to be a great cookie in PvE. Yes, the buff does not apply to himself. However, Strawberry Crepe is still going to deal a ton of damage. And on top of that, give 50% debuff resist to your 2 of the maximum lowest HP cookie. And just provide knockback as well, allowing your cookies to survive or get out of immediate danger and have extra cooldown or extra seconds for their skill cooldowns. So that's why I'm going to say Strawberry Crepe is still going to be at SS tier for your PvE team. However, I would say this team might, or this tier list might change, and I might move Strawberry Crepe down to S tier if I do find out that Moon Rabbit Cookie is actually better in PvE than Strawberry Crepe. But I'll have to see, and I'll have to test out, and I will be posting that video soon as well, guys. So watch out for those videos as well. Alright, next one is going to be Tails Cookie. Tails Cookie is going to be an S tier too, just like how Sonic Cookie is, guys, because Sonic Cookie and Tails Cookies basically have the same skill. However, it's just a buff that's different. Tails Cookie is going to provide defense buff for 15%, where Sonic Cookie provides attack speed buff for 15%. So I just want to say Tails Cookie is a great cookie to use as well, just like how Sonic Cookie is. But however, they are free and they are event cookies, so I don't think Dev Sisters made them super broken. So if you do invest in them, I would highly suggest that you keep in mind that I'm sure over time they're not gonna skill out very well in the game. So I mean, or they won't really age well in the game. So just keep that in mind when you do invest in them and you do use them. Probably Latte, Mango are probably gonna be the better choices, and Sorbet as well. Next one is going to be Tiger Lily. Tiger Lily is going to be at S tier because of the fact that she's able to stun enemies as well as knock them back, and also she won't be taking damage when she is on her tiger. She does not take damage from her HP pool when she does ride on her tiger. So I want to say she's a great cookie when it comes to PvE, and especially in the early modes where you do have some lower attack power and you're not able to kill the enemies as soon as possible. Then she'll provide that 3-second stun and knockbacks as well. So I want to say Tiger Lily Cookie is going to be at S tier for PvE team. Alright, next cookie is going to be Red Velvet. Red Velvet is going to be at B tier, and the reason why is because in PvE mode, 20-second cooldown of a single hitting target skill is insanely long. On top of that, yes, he does deal some damage. However, you gotta realize that he is a charge cookie and he does lack base attack, providing only a certain amount of damage when it comes to dealing with mobs. And yes, the 5-second stun can be useful, but it is only to one single target, and that is not going to provide more value when it comes to comparing with someone like Dark Choco, Hollyberry, Strawberry Crepe, or Milk Cookie. So I want to say Velvet is going to be at a B tier for me for PvE, guys. Alright, we have 2 more left, guys. Next one is going to be Vampire. Vampire is going to be at S tier. Yes, Vampire can be a very strong cookie. However, later on in the stages, I'll have to say vampire is more geared towards dealing with bosses and is going to have a harder time dealing with mobs. Yes, you may be able to kill the mob in one shot, however there are going to be a ton of those mobs, and if you do not have good AoE damage, then vampire cookie is going to be swarmed by them and won't be able to protect your team because he's not able to deal with the mobs due to his skill being on cooldown, dealing with just single mob. So I want to say vampire cookie still very strong, very crucial member to your team when it comes to dealing with bosses, but it won't be valuable in every single situation. So I want to say vampire cookie is going to be at S tier, guys. Alright, and the last cookie is going to be werewolf cookie. Werewolf cookie is going to be at C tier, and the reason why is because yes, he can do some damage, yes, he does transform, however that is pretty much it, guys. You know how I feel about werewolf cookie. He's not really a cookie you really want to invest in. However, I'll have to say, if he is your only tank in the beginning, then I guess you can, and then invest in other cookies that are way better up in the tier list if possible. Anyways, guys, that's gonna be it for this September 2021 tier list. I know you guys have been waiting a lot for the PVE one because I did post the PvP one, and a lot of you guys found it helpful and wanted to see the PVE. I hope this video and the tier list was helpful for you guys, and if you guys did find it helpful, don't forget to hit that subscribe button and the like button, and don't forget to hit the notification bell so that you guys don't miss out on any future Cookie Run Kingdom videos that I upload on YouTube. Anyways, guys, thanks for watching once again, and I'll see you guys next time.